Passover, Easter, I had this fantasy I didn't celebrate either one of them, and I had this fantasy that, I think it's watching too much Animal Planet, that during Passover, the gefilte fish swim upstream to their spawning grounds, and the Jews are waiting to catch them. I'm not well, and I know that. I acknowledge it. I accept it. It's the way it goes. I learned more about someone I worked with for 3 years from Angela. This is my whole life is like really like completely psychotic. And you know what I also realized? First of all, I've had a terrible couple of months recently, and my friends who are very steeped in positivity, which I say they're in complete denial about what's going on. They're steeped in positivity. They say, Jane, these things are happening to you just because the universe is trying to teach you a lesson. You know what I say? Tell the universe to bite me. I don't need any more lessons. I've had enough lessons in life. I am suffering right now from post-traumatic moth syndrome. I mean, I am beginning to see them when they're not there because they invaded my house. You know what that's like? When they come, and I tell the exterminator, I see this little tiny, I don't know what it is. He said, well, I don't know what it is either. You're a fucking exterminator. You don't know what it is. That's great. Half my wardrobe is gone already, and you don't know what it is? So he said, well, why don't you catch one and bring it up to the Bronx? So they're like, sure, I'm going to do that. I'm going to run after it. So what happened is these miserable creatures invaded they are cannibals of cloth. This is what they are. They eat your clothes. And what they're not interested in eating, they like wool particularly because they lay their eggs in it. So my winter coat was a womb for moth babies. This is all true. There's one person who helped me who's in the audience, probably is suffering from the same post-traumatic. I see them everywhere now. And they just call me Jane Mothra Stroll. It's a really horrible, horrible experience. And then you have the friends who are saying to you, oh, Jane, it could be worse. It could be worse. It could have been bed bugs. It could be worse. I lost half my wardrobe to these monsters. Okay, you know, why am I the way I am? I wish I was like Angela. I mean, I have a very skewed outlook on life, and I have to say it's because I grew up. Well, you know, I grew up here. I grew up in Chelsea, and I'm one small Jew, raised coincidentally by two other small Jews in Chelsea, and it's. And I have a cold too, so let me fetch a little more. Lovely. It's fabulous. No, you don't need to know this. All right, so I had this very good education, I must say. I was sent to school when I was 2 years old. I don't know why. I think my mother I'm an only child, just get her out of the house, please, so I can smoke my cigarettes and drink my black coffee and, you know, bemoan the fact that I'm married to Irving. So I go to downtown community school, which was a very lefty school at that time. At old times, it isn't there anymore. It was in the what they call the East Village now. It was the Lower East Side, basically. And it was a wonderful time. I had a great time. I mean, if they were trying to indoctrinate us, it didn't work, because we were having fun. I know Pete Seeger was our singing teacher. I have copies of the songs he used to give us every week. This Land Is Your Land, If I Had a Hammer, the Red Chinese National Anthem. And then twice a year they would like dump us into a Mennonite farm so we could learn to live off the land. And the Mennonites were living off the school meanwhile. So I learned to make candles, and I made soap, and I could milk a cow. Very useful for my future. Then there was no high school. The school stopped at 8th grade, so I was sent to, like, the complete opposite. I was sent to Dalton, which is like, very rich, very snotty. It wrecked me for life, I mean, truthfully, because I didn't fit. It's where the whole outsider thing started. I wanted to be invisible. Now I am invisible, basically, but then I was very visible, and they didn't like me. They were all friendly. They'd gone through the middle school together. They were all rich. I was not rich. They were dropped off in limos. I subwayed up on the shuttle. It was was all very festive in my life. And my way of hiding out was I had very long bangs, kind of down to here almost. I kind of looked like Moe in the Three Stooges, just you don't see me, you don't see me. And then, actually, what I did do is I began to steal their money. It's the truth. I did. I began to steal their money, and then I organized a vigilante committee to find the thief. You got to survive in this world. It ain't easy. Then I went to theater school, and I got my bachelor degree in acting. Very useful also. Very, very useful. And my mother had told me that the best years of my life would be spent in college, which gave me a lot to look forward to for the rest of it. And I thought, okay, let's drag this out as long as I possibly can. So I got 2 master's degrees because I didn't know what I wanted to be an actress, but I didn't know how to do that right. I really didn't. I had an opportunity when I was younger to go to bed with Dustin Hoffman. Did I take it? No. No, I rejected him and went to bed with his stand-in, Irwin. That was the beginning of a long, long pattern of bad choices. Oh, yes. Then I thought, okay, I got to get a day job, for the 2 months that I'm going to, until I become rich and famous. And I come from a long line of delusional people. And I thought, okay, so what am I going to do? I mean, I can't be a waitress because I fall a lot. And I can't, I was hired as a secretary quite often in, like, advertising agencies because I was young, I was attractive, and I had big breasts. I had no skills. I didn't have one skill. So the job would last 2 weeks as soon as they discovered that me or my breasts, we couldn't type. So very, very nightmarish decisions. So I thought, okay, what's left? I'll be a social worker. There we go. I'll be a social worker. And the fact that I don't like people won't interfere. I think it was at that time in my life, I'm exhausted, I could lay down right now. Believe me, I'm considering it. But we got a long way to go here. When I finished college and I came back and I got my own apartment, before I went and I got my 2 master's degrees, one I never used at all, and the other was social work, which did, destroy my life on some level, but it gave me money. And I fell in love. I fell in love with, I hate to say the love of my life because that's kind of really cutting things off right now, but he was, to date, the love of my life. I'm giving you a name. His name was Joey, and that was his real. I'm not giving it to him. It was his name. The psychotic speech here. I don't know what I'm doing. It was, basically, Joey and I were pot smokers. That was, we had great sex. Oh, the sex was fantastic. We were living in what was then East Harlem. And our bedroom, we didn't have a bedroom, we lived in a slum because it was all slums then, but the bed faced the telephone company that was right across the street, and we didn't put curtains up. And we actually got applause. I just have to share that. What I have come to, I cannot believe. A fucking tragedy. So Joey and I, we made our decisions based on basically the strength of the pot we were smoking. And one time, very strong pot, and we decided, he was a native New Yorker too, we're going to leave New York. We've had enough. We're just getting out. So why not go from living in the greatest city in America to living in a coma with cactus? That makes sense. So we moved to Phoenix, Arizona. Nothing there. Nothing. This was the 70s. There was one store in the entire city of Phoenix that sold good bagels. And on Sunday morning, every Jew in town would be lined up. Both of us were there. And we would turn to each other and say, "Can you believe this line?"